Hi rabbits, Research Turtle here. Today we are diving into the most critical contradiction of the 21st century. We are standing on the brink of post-scarcity, a world where technology solves our material needs. But the question isn't whether we can produce abundance, it's who gets to own it. From the mines of the moon to the end of the labor market, let's explore the future of value. Let's start with the optimistic view. Sam Altman calls it Moore's Law for everything. The thesis is simple. As AI advances, the marginal cost of intelligence and energy will crash towards zero. If technology can drive the price of goods down, we enter a society of absolute abundance. In theory, this is the dawn of a new era where survival is guaranteed for everyone. But there's a catch. We often think that because space is infinite, resource wars will end. This is the illusion of peaceful acquisition. As you can see in this Venn diagram, success requires three things: engineering feasibility, economic viability, and the missing link, political legitimacy. Just because we can mine an asteroid doesn't mean the superpowers will agree on who owns it. The old zero-sum game of territorial conquest is just shifting into a new form, lawfare, or legal warfare. Look at the moon. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty declared space the common heritage of mankind, but the new Artemis Accords are changing the rules, introducing safety zones that essentially allow for first-come, first-served extraction. By drawing safety zones around mining sites like the Shackleton crater, nations can create de facto territory. This isn't just exploration, it is the enclosure of the commons on a cosmic scale. Closer to home, the battle is heating up in the Pacific. This is the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. We are currently facing a trigger event. Nations like Nauru are using the 2-year rule to force the International Seabed Authority to allow commercial extraction by 2025, with China dominating contracts and the U.S. operating outside the UN treaty. The deep sea risks becoming a zone of naval confrontation rather than shared prosperity. Even if we secure these resources, we face an economic trap. Imagine bringing a platinum asteroid back to Earth. The supply shock would be so massive that the price of platinum would collapse to zero. This destroys the profitability of the mining company that brought it. This is the paradox of plenty. To keep prices high, companies might keep the resources in space for infrastructure, meaning the abundance stays up there, while consumers down here don't see the benefit. While we fight for resources, the engine of our economy, labor, is breaking. Look at this graph. For decades, productivity and wages rose together, but since the 1980s, we've seen the great decoupling. Value creation has detached from human input. With AI projected to replace a quarter of jobs by 2030, the old labor value theory that your work equals your worth is collapsing. So if labor doesn't drive value, what does? We're moving from capitalism to techno-feudalism. Big tech platforms are not just markets, they are digital fiefdoms. In this system, you aren't a customer, you're a cloud serf. Every time you scroll or click, you're producing data rent for the algorithm owners. The economy shifts from generating profit through production to extracting rent through ownership. Sociologist Peter Fraze gives us a framework for where this leads. It depends on two variables: abundance versus scarcity and equality versus hierarchy. If we have abundance but stick to hierarchy, we end up in rentism, a world of artificial scarcity controlled by copyright lords. The darker path is exterminism, where the elite don't need labor anymore and simply wall themselves off. Our current trajectory, straight toward rentism. We see this rentism in the digital world. In the metaverse, land should be infinite, yet platforms use code to create artificial scarcity. They're selling virtual plots of land, recreating the class structures of the physical world in a digital space that should be boundless. It's colonization without the soil. In the physical world, as basic goods become cheap, positional goods become the new battleground. A toaster might cost pennies, but a house on the beach or a degree from Harvard, those are limited. As society gets richer, the competition shifts to status and location. Inequality shifts from starvation, not having enough to eat, to exclusion, not being allowed in the right places. So how do we fix this? We need a new architecture. First, we stop taxing the dying labor income and start taxing the new wealth. This means a robot tax to slow automation and, more importantly, a land value tax. Whether it's physical land or digital server space, we must tax the unearned increment, the value created by society, not the owner. Second, universal basic income, UBI, isn't enough. We need universal basic assets, UBA. Cash is fragile. Resilience requires ownership. We need a national stack where the public owns a share of the AI compute and data infrastructure. We need to move the population from subsistence to equity. Finally, for those space and sea resources, we need a global resource dividend. If nations mine the common heritage of mankind, they should pay a dividend into a global fund. Think of it like the Alaska Permanent Fund but scaled to the solar system. This uses the external frontier to solve poverty on the internal frontier. We're left with a choice. Abundance is a technological fact, but distribution is a political choice. We can build a fortress where the elite hide behind automated defenses, or we can build a garden, an integrated biosphere where technology serves everyone. We must build the social architecture to match our technical power. That's it for today. Turtle out.